right. Check one, check two. This is it. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour with your host, me, Bob Cantrell, coming back to you with another exciting episode. A great episode with a great guest, a cool guest. You may have heard her coughing a little bit in the back. She's coming live from Austin. She's too cool to do this in the morning. She has produced several comedy specials and television shows and ran a venue that was close to my heart here in New York. During the pandemic, she up and grabbed everything and moved it to Austin and started kicking ass down there. I'm excited. I haven't talked to her in a long time for extended amount of time, so this is cool. She's doing the podcast. Please give it up for the one and only Rebecca Trent.
Hi, Rob. Oh, that's awesome. You're the best hype man.
Yeah, super hype man, super high tech intro for you for the Cannabis Coffee Hour.
I love it.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast, Rebecca. Just to keep it simple, do you drink coffee?
I do not.
That's cool. That's cool.
I do not.
I'm switching it up myself. I'm drinking a good cup of coffee right now. I could talk about all that, but I think everybody has their own morning vibe. What's your morning vibe and routine there in Texas? Are you just hammering down some barbecue and a vape pen? So you got a good vape. Is that a PAX? What are you rolling?
Oh, this is Dabwoods, which is my favorite vape pen brand. And I've got I actually have a bong at home. I usually do bong rips more than anything. When I'm with a group, I'll roll blunts, but like I like to roll big fat blunts, and I feel like nobody ever really wants to match with me. So I end up like wasting like 2 grams, and I get like 4 hits out of it. You know what I mean?
But it looks cool and it tastes good, and you get a little bit of the tobacco. If you're rolling blunts,
exactly.
What are you rolling with? Are you rolling?
Backwards.
My day, I used to go Swisher. Yeah, okay.
Backwards all the way. I want it to taste like normal. It's weird when people hand me. I like hear people use like Swishers a lot, or they use games with the flavors, and like it's just like I don't want to feel like I'm like smoking Kool-Aid. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just weird.
It's sugar. The weed
worker
already.
in the background.
Who's that?
There's a guy working on the internet in the background, just so you know. Sorry.
You're at the venue. I can't wait to come down to Austin to check it out and vibe.
Yeah, man.
I haven't been out on the road hardcore. I'm gonna start setting out in April. But
nice.
But I hear what you're saying. Like weed is so sweet. Sometimes, if they put super flavors or like a scented rolling paper, it's like if you've got good enough herb, it's already, minty fresh.
Exactly.
How clean is your bong right now?
I change the water every like 2 or 3 days, and I usually probably smoke like 4 bowls out of it.
No.
I scrape it down maybe like I'll run hot water through it and get like the loose resin out of there. But I don't like really like scrape it down or do like any of the ozone stuff. I also
Formula 420. You don't get that. You don't get that.
I used to. I have some in my cabinet, but it's just like it just doesn't seem necessary if it's just me smoking it. Like I'll clean it for company. You know what I mean? Like properly.
You're being responsible. I love responsible smokers. I love smokers that know their proper intake or what they're trying to do. Right now I'm doing glass one hitter with a wood base. I love this piece. I got some good flour. So yeah, I just rip a couple of these with my cup of coffee is kind of how I roll. But this morning you had water, or what did you do?
This morning I woke up, I had a couple glasses of water. I finished the bowl from the night before that I hadn't finished, and I packed a fresh one, finished that, and then came here.
What are we talking about? As a comedy rock star, venue owner, and festival bringer to lifer, what time did you get up in the morning today? Just so people know and understand.
I went to bed at 3. I woke up at around 9:30. I usually
That's
set an
good.
alarm and wake up about an hour before, an hour or a half hour before. And today I set my alarm for 10 and I woke up at 9:30.
Oh, thank you for doing the podcast. Thank you for doing the
Yeah, of course.
uh yeah, that sounds like a good life. And what about the venue? How's the Creek in the Cave doing down there? And what's the cannabis scene like in Texas overall? I mean, you were used to Rebecca. I've known Rebecca. She used to have 420 events at the Creek and Cave where people would smoke. I once saw like a bluegrass band, maybe on mushrooms there one night.
Yeah.
There was always some type of hippie vibe going on with Rebecca Trent type events. So I know you know what's going on. What do you think of Austin? How's the Creek in the Cave? How's the herb down there?
Well, I can say like Austin's kind of my experience and like understand I'm in downtown Austin and Austin is this really sprawling town. Like it's like you can drive like 45 minutes and still be in Austin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm in downtown. So my experience of Austin is very encapsulated. Like I live 4 blocks away. I walk to work. It's all right in this little area, right? My whole world.
Love it.
So it's very much like Williamsburg to me, right? There's a lot of people who are here. Like I get the vibe that a lot of people are here because they're the weirdest person from their hometown in Texas, but it's still Texas. You know what I mean? So the vibes are really cool, but the rules like weed's illegal. They use it as an excuse to, cops use it as an excuse to have like, that extra conversation with you that ends up getting you in trouble.
So you still gotta watch
And
it a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, you got to watch it. I mean, like not so much during festivals like South by, like it's pretty chill normally. Like people don't really bother you too much about that
It's like a
in
major
general.
city. Yeah.
But if they want to have a reason to talk to you, they'll use that as the reason and then they'll get you for whatever reason. You know what I mean? It's like their inroad, it's their
Still
excuse.
Texas. Yeah, it's
It's
still
still
yeah,
Texas.
still
Yeah,
got roots in
I've
Texas.
definitely seen Austin Police Department like take an entire like group of horses and like run like a crowd out of the
Cowboy.
area
Yeah,
with
straight.
horses.
Yeah,
It's wild.
it's
Um,
wild. What you
so
kind of
like
like
so
in some ways, being a business owner, you do want strong police in some ways, right? Like you do want, I don't know. I would
it's
think
funny. The
if
police
shit
department's
pops
across
off,
yeah, I mean, no, for sure. Not if, when, because it's like this block that I'm on is particularly bad. There's an
dude, I'm
awful
two
lot of,
stops from the Brooklyn shooting, girl. Shit went down here.
yeah, no, I get that. And I'm not trying to invalidate it, but I'm just saying that like regularly I'll be sitting on the patio and listen to gunshots. Like there was a guy who shot 13 people like
Oh my
literally across
God.
the street from a comedy club a block from us, like over on 6th Street. We're on 7th. And then there's a club next door to us that has an awful lot of folks that carry. And unfortunately, they don't have a liquor license. So the law is that they can bring their guns if they want to. So sometimes like there's like retribution stuff going on. Like something happens like once every couple of weeks
It's a
on my block.
carry. Yeah, I know it. I don't
Yeah.
live in a carry state, but my brother, Virginia's a carry state now, right? People got it on
No,
their hip,
Georgia is. Georgia just
Georgia,
passed the law.
and they got it on their
Um,
hip. That's what a carry state, right? You're gonna see some cats with it on their hip walking around.
well, I guess what the law here is that you don't have to have any, you can like literally my dad and I went to a gun shop and he put his credit card down and was like, I'd like you to get her this gun. And that was it. That was the whole thing. And then they told me I had to get a Texas driver's license before I could come pick it up.
Yeah, I can see that. That's Texas.
That's it.
I respect. I always I don't mess. There is something about not messing with Texas that I've learned in my life. Don't mess.
Really? Who
Yeah,
are you scared
tough
of?
kid.
Trey?
No, not Trump.
I mean, come on,
No, with
Trey. I
the
said Trey.
I
Like,
was
think
a
about
good
our
wrestler. I
comic
was
friends from here, man.
no, but I know a lot of good people from Texas. I love Texas, and I actually did South by Southwest with High Times, and we were with some of the dudes from Pantera. I had a great.
South by is so much fun. Moon Tower
Brody
is
was with
amazing.
me. It was just sick. Like I had some great
Oh
memories
wow.
from that place.
Brody.
So I dig Texas. I totally get it. But I always say people from New Jersey and Texas, like you shouldn't get in fights with. Like there's just another sense of desperation with
I
this.
could see that. I
Yeah.
could kind of see that. And
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
an awful lot of folks from Jersey down here.
I could
You
see
know what
that.
I mean?
Yeah, it's a
Like
little
it
bit,
appeals
don't
to them.
judge me, don't fuck with me, you know, it's a little bit, and you know, not the most polite, but the thing about Texas, they still got the South in them. So
Yeah.
still,
See,
they still can
I
be a
like
little bit
that
polite.
New York is a little bit less, like I'm considered rude here.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. And we come from Virginia, and the thing about New York, it is in your face, and sometimes you could see it as being cold and hard, but it's just people have no time for bullshit. So you have to come real with everybody, or they just move on.
Right. Well, people don't honk their horns here. And people talk to the baristas in line. So like the coffee line is 5 times longer than it ever needs to be.
Yeah.
And like I drink tea, so like I'll be in line sometimes.
Yeah.
So like the small talk here is wild, because you're right, you do get the bluntness, but you also get that southern hospitality charm shit where you have to like have small talk, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm considered rude like when I'm in game face, like when I'm in like show mode or whatever, like people don't really, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I don't really belong here, and then sometimes I feel like it's like a paradise. You know what I mean? Like I flux back and forth. It's very like weird.
Yeah, I mean, Rebecca, you ran a live venue that did multiple shows every night in Long Island City, like right off this cove. The creek in the cave is literally right off the water right there. I remember going there the first time on the 7, it blowing my mind. And then it became a part of my world. But yeah, so you know, you just got a lot going on. So I get it. If whenever you're like, even when I used to come around, we're old stoner buddies, and I never care about smoking bowls with you or whatever. I could always sense when you were in game mode. Like I could always just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna let her run her shit. She's got a lot going on and putting on shows. Now, are you putting up a lot of like what's the local scene in Austin? Are you supporting that like you supported New York?
Oh, for sure.
I could see that.
The local scene's dope. The folks here have a lot of heart. And I think that the most major drawback is that there's a limited amount of opportunities for booked stage time. So there's few comics that are able to get to that point where they're like where they just don't have a day job. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
for right now, the scene is obviously growing, right? And as far as like legit comedy clubs go, we've got 2 more big comedy clubs that are opening up in the next 6 months or so. We've got Cap City and Joe Rogan's club, which I believe is going to be called the Mothership. I don't know if that's, you probably are going to have to edit that out. I don't know if that's kosher for me to say what the name of it is, unless that's public knowledge. I don't know how I found out is what I'm trying to say.
Duck out of it real quick.
Maybe good. I'll look it up though, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, does that excite you, or does it bum you out because it's competition?
It scares me.
No.
Yeah. It scares me. Yeah, I mean, I like, it's exciting for the comedy scene for sure, and I'm excited for the comics. But as a business owner in this field, and also like sort of like in one case, like Joe's club is going to be like right down the block. You know, it scares me. We've got only but so many comics here. It's not as many as New York, certainly, you know. So the local scene's big enough, I think, to sustain a certain amount of programming. But I'll be curious to see if all 3 of the clubs are doing local programming Monday through Thursday, let's say. I'll be curious to see how sustainable that is. These guys are going to be really busy. Maybe it'll result in less day jobs and start really elevating, you know, the bottom line is my philosophy has always been that a rising tide raises all ships. I believe that ultimately it's going to be good for the comedy scene, and what's good for the comedy scene is good for all of the comedy clubs, no matter what. But I'm a little nervous, you know, like I know that when a club first
You're
opens,
right.
They're going to, you know, go check that out for the first, like, you know, we're definitely going to have to take some kind of a hit, and we're not really in a position to. So I'm nervous. I'm definitely nervous.
No, don't be nervous. You're right. And that's a good way to be about people being successful, is you should celebrate people's success, especially
for sure.
in the field, even if you don't like them or it's not your taste, because like you said, it does have runoff effects with everything. So yeah, if there's more shows, and then they're doing these type of shows, that means there's an audience for these other type of shows, and that pushes them up. Like it all can work together.
Yeah, and I think that it will. And also, like, you know, not for nothing, but the people who run who run those clubs are good people. You know what I mean? So like they're not looking to like, it's not like a franchise is coming in. It's not like Walmart is like, we're in the comedy business now. You know what I mean?
A couple
like, it's us. Like we know each other. You know?
They're good. Yeah, they're all good people, and they care about comedy. So that's what
exactly.
That's like the initial thing with any business. You got to give a fuck about what you do. And that's what's so great about Rebecca, is that she actually gives a fuck. She has supported so many comedians coming up, from Donald Glover to Michael Che to Sean Patton. You know, she funded a video of mine early on, helped me shoot, and got camera editing equipment.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Dude, I never forget. Fun. That was a lot of fun. It was a great video. I have it in the database somewhere. It needs to be chopped up a little bit. Like, it was like one of my first forays, but yeah. You just to multiple people from all the podcasts. I would say, yeah, if you're a fan of Last Podcast on the Left, Legion of Skanks, these are two like of the biggest podcasts out there in the world. And they started in Rebecca's basement because she was so cool and let people just do this shit, and gave them chicken fingers and hooked them up. And I just think it's great, Rebecca. And I think you should be giving your flowers. I hope you're smoking some flower.
Well, thank you.
But I think, so you're saying like Texas, but there is good weed there because it's Austin, right? Because you got a lot of gay people, you got a lot of creative people, artists, weirdos, musicians.
Yeah, there's definitely access, and I've got a good hookup now. Actually, I see him almost every day, and he's got good indica, but it's hard to find indica here. Folks really fuck with the sativa here, like hard. So, or like hybrids, but like it's hard to find like really good strong bud. And I just got picked up some sour OG and I don't remember the other one. And I just sort of
high quality.
I just mixed them together, but it took me probably damn near 9 months to find consistent high quality bud. Like sometimes because folks who sell here are like getting it in different spots. Like sometimes they'll get it from Mexico, sometimes they'll get it from Denver, sometimes they'll get it from, do you know what I mean? Like somebody will have a medical card and they'll just pick it up in like some random state, you know? So like, it's not necessarily consistent. I just found something that was like more consistent, which is
That's
good.
Too bad. Yeah. I can see that because Texas isn't going to have like huge grow houses. Like you go to like.
No, it's illegal. So there's nothing adjacent. There's nothing you can't just go pick up, which is kind of good. Like I'm one of those sort of old school stoners who's not necessarily stoked about the idea of like only having the dispensary as an option. Like I kind of don't want to see what the like tax situation is going to be on that. Like what New York is going to bang us out so hard. We're going to be paying like $5.50 a fucking ounce. You know what I mean? In the shops. And like, I don't want to put my buddies out of business. Like that's how they get by. It's how they feed their kids, you know?
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm sick of doing the bodega thing. And once fentanyl hit the streets, and I got a couple bodega bags that I was.
Hold on a second. People aren't putting fentanyl in fucking marijuana. That's not real.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
I looked at it. Snopes said it wasn't happening. What?
It just matters. I mean, you can't trust some dude that's trying to make a cover his Pornhub bill. You can't trust just.
First of all, I thought Pornhub was free, so you're blowing my mind on a lot.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. For me, Rebecca, I guess what I want at this age, I'm turning 50 this year. I got high cholesterol. I hit some weed that made my chest race, and I was like, "Fuck this, man!" And then when I went to Massachusetts, I went in. I want outdoor grown, organic, about 15 on the THC level. Don't give me 20. Don't give me 30. Give me about 15% with one CBD. And yeah, you want to talk about somebody that's a snob. That's where I'm at. I don't want to go
specific.
Yeah, very specific. And I don't want to talk to some dude about crystals for half an hour that I still have to do now. I still have to go hang out with somebody and talk to somebody. you know how dope it is. I love going to California and Denver and Colorado. Like, boom, I want that done. Rest of the day, I don't have to mark out 2 hours to hang out with Sketch Bob, which I like Sketch Bob. He's cool. We can hacky sack and talk widespread concerts all day. But at the end of the day, I'm 50. I got shit to do.
I don't think that my weed hookups liked me that much. So I never had to talk to them for that long. And I could always just be like, I gotta go phone, you know, but yeah, I mean, like I guess it makes me feel like a tourist, because the only time I've ever experienced going to a dispensary has been when I'm at High Plains Comedy Festival in Denver, or when I'm in Vegas scouting for Skankfest, or, you know what I mean? So it's not really, I don't know, like it's just like, it's weird thinking of that as being like the New York weed experience. It's going to be an adjustment for me.
Yeah, you know? Regular. It's almost too much. Like, you do have to just watch it. And what made it nice about illegal is that you could take a tolerance break, and you didn't even want to take a tolerance break. You just
true, very true.
And it might help
the arrests were a little annoying though. I did get arrested a couple times in New York. Did you ever get locked up for weed?
Yeah, I did. I did like 2 albums on it. Yeah. Yeah, I got popped. I did 3 nights.
No, in New York, you got popped in New York?
Yeah, I got New York City at the Parkside Lounge in the Lower East Side in 2007. I did 3 nights. I went in Friday, didn't get out till Sunday. Didn't take a shit the whole time for 72 hours. Was in there
hilarious.
with dudes begging for their methadone, with cross eyes yelling at me, man. It was nuts. But yeah, and it was the Tombs, so it was like the federal holding cell. So yeah, totally. I think that's why. And I wasn't doing anything, but after like doing a show in front of 12 people in the Lower East Side, outside smoking a joint, and I got picked up. You know, it's just whack.
I got picked up outside a cabin in 2011, or no, yeah, I think it was 2011. I was arrested with TJ Miller, who I know is okay with me talking about it, and another girl who's also a big comic, but I don't know if she'd be okay with me saying it. And we got arrested, and we were taken over to the precinct, and like I got arrested by the same family. I was bartending at the time, by the same family that arrested me the last time, and they were both customers of mine at the Creek in the Cave. And it was just like wild. It's like these 2 cousins were the 2 people that arrested me in New York City.
Yeah, that was the weird thing about the Creek in the Cave, is like it was in Long Island City, and there was like a cop bar right around the street and a cop precinct, and they would all hang, and it's all Long Island, Queens, New York guys. And I'm not a fuck the police type of dude. Like, I like cops if they're smart and they got their shit together, because most cops don't shake you down for weed in New York as they did back then, I think 7 years ago. But even the ones that busted me, I could tell. And I had Mark DeMeo, who was a comic that was a police officer.
Oh, yeah, I was a cop.
He was a cop, and he was like, yeah, dude, we totally knew it was a complete cash grab. Like, they all went home at night, and they're like, yeah, we just popped some yuppie walking his dog, hitting a one-hitter. And fucked up his night for $300, and we're going home tonight and smoking a one-hitter outside as well.
And that is all well and good, except sometimes they were popping kids who were 14 and putting them in fucking big boy jail. Like, I know a kid that got popped for weed who is in Rikers right now. He's been in Rikers for over 14 months. He just got arrested. Well, no, 14 months, 24 months, 36. It's been over 3 years now. So I met him like 3 years ago. And he was a kid when he got locked up. He's going to be and he just doesn't have the bail money. That's it. He could be out by now because of COVID and stuff, but he was locked up during the pandemic before I left New York. And that's just a regular old weed charge. You know what I mean? Whoops-a-daisy. Because, it evolves into more.
Yeah.
That's like it's not a gateway drug anymore. It's like a gateway judicial system situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's an easy way to get caught up.
Yeah.
But
so I'm glad that's gone. That part of it, I'm super glad it's gone.
That's what I say, legalize. And I'm trying
100%.
to step away from any type of politics whatsoever. But the Democrats do have it on the bill, and the Republicans are shutting it down. That's just the word. The federal. Yeah, they got it all the way. But they're going to take it down because that's what everybody does. Everybody just takes out each other's feet when they want to win a point. and that's what's happening right now with the federal. But
Even
at
if
the
you
same
show them
time,
how much money they can make, I mean,
yeah, I
Republicans go
think
after
on
money,
the
right?
national scale, the Republicans just don't want to give up the point. They just don't want to give up the point,
So
and
stupid.
yeah, so it's just like, okay, can we all come? And I know that's the one thing this country can come together on. That's what I've always. I had a
Big time.
if you this is something I want to spread out into the universe. The biggest problem with this country right now is the political divide. It's the divide. It's not the problem, it's the divide. The divide is the bigger problem than all the problems.
Yep.
But weed brings us together. So welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour. Now, Rebecca, before I let you go, we've been on about 37 minutes here. I try to do like 45, put some funky beats on it and call it a day.
Okay.
But music wise, like you were born, what town were you? You don't have to give out too much information, but I just love, because both of our families are from Virginia. So you're like the one person that there's a few people from that area that I know, but what part of Virginia did you grow up in?
So I spent kindergarten was Virginia Beach. First, second, and third grade was I went to school in Norfolk, Virginia, and I lived in Portsmouth, Virginia. So all in the Tidewater area.
Yeah.
And then, so I was a military brat. So we moved away, but my grandparents, my grandfather on my mother's side started the physics department at Old Dominion University in Norfolk.
Yep.
So he lived like right off campus. And so I kind of I grew up there, like we would summer there and stuff. And we spent every summer, we would spend 2 weeks in the Outer Banks in North Carolina.
Beautiful.
And then I went to high school in Northern Virginia at West Potomac High School.
Nice.
I went to college in Radford University in Southwest Virginia. And then out of college, I spent 2 years working for City at Peace, which is a nonprofit organization in Washington, D.C. that worked with D.C. Metro kids. So it was Virginia, Maryland, and D.C.
Oh, that is cool. You do have you do get involved with city politics and local politics. I remember
I do.
Queens, you would always get behind a representative. And people do say that I'm trying to veer away from politics, and I'm going to bring it back to music here in a second. But I will say what I thought was cool about you is that, and I think it's the smartest thing, is if you want to get into politics, the global shit is good and the big center stage is all cool. But really, if you want to affect your neighborhood, you should get in local and understand
exactly
the local cats are fucking with your school and your water and all that. And Rebecca, you always did that. So I just want to put that out in the universe. Now, were you ever a deadhead? Did you go through a jam band phase? Did you go through a fish phase? Were you into hip hop?
No.
How did it all?
No. Okay. So
you have a bit of a theater gig, and now you're wearing a Kango. I mean, you got all kinds of stuff.
My parents were not really down with the music. I wasn't allowed to watch MTV. I wasn't allowed to see. I also wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons or anything. But I was allowed to listen to as much stand up as I wanted to. They never censored stand up. So I don't even know why, because some of the filthiest, most insane shit. Like I learned about masturbation from a Phil Hartman sketch on Saturday Night Live. Do you know what I mean? Like, but my parents were totally
were the same way. Yeah, with
comedy, but the music was yeah. I mean, and I started to get interested in music right when Papa Don't Preach came out, and my parents listened to the lyrics of Papa Don't Preach and lost their fucking minds. Meanwhile, I'm 10 years old. I don't understand any of it. I'm just listening to the music part of the music, not the lyrics. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so I caught a beating in high school. Like my dad, I remember he threw me down the stairs and like hit my head against the wall because I was listening to Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 2, maybe, when he was talking about sucking dick in the beginning of the song. My dad heard that and lost his fucking mind and started wailing on me. It was right after I moved back to the States from Berlin, because I lived in Germany when the wall fell. I was there 2 years before and 2 years after the wall fell. And so like I was into music then, like I was, but so long story short, just into comedy, didn't know anything about music, was hanging out with my friends who were all musician type people or musically inclined. And I was like, hey, I think you'll know this. I have this favorite song, but I don't know who sings it. And I said some of the lyrics and they were like, yeah, I got you. And they played a fucking Roger Waters song. And it turns out that Pink Floyd's my favorite band. So I saw them. The first concert I ever went to was 2005. It was Depeche Mode at Madison Square Garden.
Right here.
I love it. I love it. So I saw Roger Waters do The Wall at Yankee Stadium, and I loved it so much that I found cheap seats in Philly. I drove down to Philly and watched it on the floor, and like the bass player came and smoked joints with us, and like it was so much fucking fun. It was the most amazing musical experience I ever had, and I think I was like 9th row on the floor on the field. So it was amazing.
Okay, wait a second. So this is when Roger Waters went out by himself, but he was recreating The Wall, or was this the? Okay.
Yeah, he did the Wall tour in 2014 or 15. I think.
Yeah. Their music,
and it was incredible.
Like the kids say, like it's definitely a vibe, and it's more an artistic aesthetic. Like I talk about it on this. Like I wasn't an art school kid, but those guys were like art school kids that just went hardcore into some psychedelics and got a band going. And the thing about art school kids is that they understand the business of entertainment earlier.
For sure. They know how to put on a show earlier.
Yeah, they know how to put on a show, and they don't attach their ego into it. And they know that it's all kind of this presentation thing and how to frame things. Like they get that before a lot of people, I believe. You know, that's the one thing I wish I had that early on, somebody to pull me aside and tell me and show at least, but I don't think anybody does. I think you just learn it by doing it.
You do. You have to. And I mean, like, I think like Roger Waters is also sort of one of those bands where like, I love the fact that he's still doing it. I love the fact that it's the people that are working with him. I mean, his musical history and the people that it's beautiful that he still collaborates with people. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's kind of awesome. He's been burned an awful lot. I don't know the man. I enjoy the music. I don't want to you know what I mean? He's not, he's legit fucking rock and roller, and those fucking guitarists are insane.
Yeah.
And I just like, you know what I mean? And he's the guy behind all of it. So I'm really down for it. I also really love Canadian cowboy music.
Oh, wow.
I'm into Canadian
country phase.
Well, sort of. Yeah, I think Glenn, a comic from Canada named Glenn Wool, turned me on to Corb Lund and Blue Rodeo, and I like those two bands a lot. Yeah, they're both really dope. I like them a lot. Corb Lund has an entire album dedicated to the history of horses, like throughout the world, and it's just an incredible. Well, it's one song. It's from an album I think called Horse Soldier, but it's just
horses are the best.
I really love them. I brought up horses a lot today. I think they're on my mind for some reason.
But here's the gig about horses. They got the hottest body.
Oh, yeah? I don't know. I've seen a pretty hot kangaroo in my life. Remember that hot kangaroo that just died like a couple of years ago?
Yeah, they're pretty
rare. Pretty hot.
But they're kind of built. But a horse is just like a Clydesdale. It's just the power, and you just
they're so dope.
Not even sexual. I'm not talking sexual. I'm talking about like.
It's weird you felt like you had to point that out, Rob.
I know, because comedy and comics are weird. And I'm smoking a bunch of weed, and I just said horses have good bodies and good dongs. No, but no, but
Clydesdales are amazing though. Like I grew up like in Tidewater, so we would go to Busch Gardens all the time, and I would see those Clydesdales. My brother used to work at Busch Gardens.
Dude,
the Clydesdales were my favorite. They're like a fucking walking house. They're huger than you could ever imagine. But those are the kind of horses.
Those are dinosaurs. Yeah,
they're dinosaurs. Yeah, they're absolutely like they're giant. They're insane.
Would you own a mini horse?
A mini horse?
Don't you like that?
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you. I'd rather have a wallaby. I want a mini kangaroo.
Yeah, kangaroos. Yeah, they are. I got a new cat, and I'm all about my cat. Like,
oh, you did?
Yeah, I go out to do spots, and then there's times I'm just like, I just want to pet this cat for a while.
I feel you.
But
Eliza has made me miss. She's made me late for meetings before because she just wants to cuddle, and it's like I'm not going to say no to this 17-year-old cat.
Dude, a cat purring in your lap while you're reading.
It's the best.
It's the best. It's the best. But the reason I brought that up is that she's a spaz, complete alley cat, and she does the move that kangaroos do. She grabs me, and then she does her two back hind legs, does the rapid cut, And that's what the kangaroo does when they fight you. They set you up, and then they bring those two big legs up.
They slice this up like crazy.
You get a good
the worst.
sliver.
The worst.
Cats, kangaroo. I was gonna pitch you my show about cat people, like people with cat heads, but I'll do that.
Oh my god, I love it. You definitely should.
Yeah, have
you ever fucked with a sugar glider?
What's a sugar glider?
Sugar gliders. Oh, you got to look this up. It's like a chipmunk, but it's got like flaps, so it can kind of like float around and fly. It's like a flying squirrel, but cooler and smaller.
Oh,
and nice. I looked into it. And I tried to justify it. I wanted to get like 20 or 30 of them and just like release them. You know what I mean? In the backyard, and just sort of like, and have like little food stations set up for them and stuff, and just have sugar gliders all over the place. But it turns out they like bite people's earlobes and stuff, so I didn't want to get sued.
Yeah, and once you start doing rodents, and you can't control them. I can't control my cat. That's something I learned. Like they just got big. But are you fucking with birdhouses? Are you going heavy with the birdhouse out there? Do you have a birdhouse?
Nah, man, there are so many birds here. It's so loud. Like you can, and it'll be like in the middle of the night, and they'll just start screaming, and you're like, "What is happening?" They're called grackles, I think. Oh, yeah, and let me tell you something. Cave?
Isn't there?
There's a bat. Yeah. Nick Turner and Nick Vatterott and I went to it last summer, this past July. You go out in a certain time, like all the bats like fly out at the same time, and people like line up to watch it and stuff. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. I could dig
It's pretty cool. But I do want to warn all of your followers, everybody that's listening, the roaches in Texas fly.
Ooh. Dude.
Nobody knows this. Nobody fucking told me before I moved here. I was in a production meeting with like 30 other people in the backyard, and I was like, something hit my chest, and like I looked down and I was like, oh my god, who threw this roach at me? I thought somebody picked a roach up and just threw it at me, and I was like, why would anybody do that? Like, I don't even understand. We weren't talking about anything controversial, you know. And and they were like, no. They started laughing at me, and they were like, no, the roaches fly here. Sometimes they'll fly into you. Sometimes
fly right into you.
Crazy. It's crazy. I almost packed my shit and left. I called my closest friend who's from Austin. I called this girl named Kat, and I was like, what the fuck? How did you not fucking tell me that? And she's like, girl, I knew you wouldn't move here. I wasn't going to tell you.
What about scorpions? Have you seen any scorpions?
No scorpions. I've seen a couple snakes. I was supposed to go pig hunting, but it got canceled because of weather.
Mm-hmm.
And the grackles, those birds, there hasn't really been a ton of like wildlife, but I'm also, like I said, I'm in downtown, so I'm not going to see as much as most folks are going to.
You're seeing comedy, you're seeing bands.
I'm seeing comedy.
And
exactly.
who did you just have there at the Creek in the Cave?
Beth Stelling?
Yeah, Beth
just
Stelling.
did this past weekend.
Yeah, she's cool.
She's amazing.
She's great. Anybody go check out the Creek in the Cave if you're in Austin. Rebecca books all kinds of different shows, but also brings in people that are talented, and she's got a great ear for comedy. And just a great ear in general. And we're doing a production together on 420 here in New York called Dynamo
Kingdom.
But when are you flying in? Are you flying in? Am I going to see you?
Easter. Yeah, I come in on Sunday night, so I'm going to be around.
All right, Easter Sunday. That's beautiful. Yeah. All right, I can't wait. Check out Dynamo Kingdom. Check out Creek in the Cave. Be kind and good. Thanks for coming on the Cannabis
and
Coffee
can
Hour.
I do a quick shout out to Grav Pipes and Micah Glass? He did such a great job, and he sent me a bunch of pipes, and I figured this is a weed thing, so I should say thanks to him on here.
Yeah, check out Grav Pipes. That's what did you get? Did you get a bong from them, or
he sent me a bubbler, a Dabrick bubbler, and 2 big bongs, like really big bongs, like huge, like with the ice catchers and stuff.
Oh wow.
I let Hannibal's crew christen that one when they were here for South by.
Oh, that's great.
His producer True came in, and yeah, well, no, they didn't have it backstage. Like True, like we had like a little after hours joint for folks, and his producer was like, I don't have anything, I don't have any papers. I was like, I got something better. Let me go get it.
A brand new bong. Boom.
Brand new bong. Yeah, it was awesome.
You're an awesome guest for the Cannabis Coffee Hour. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
I can't wait to see you. I'll check you out soon, and peace and love. That's it.
All right. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
discovering truth is not a question of intelligence. It's intelligence, no intellectual ability or intellectual intelligence at all. Because if it were, then there's so many people with really sharp intellects. You know, they have such skill at comprehending or going to the point. So if that was all that it took, there'd be many Buddhas who came to the intellectual artery or vein.